We have the new Christmas fusion. It is in. We'll get back to him. Let's look at this. We have a Christmas tree and snow going all around when you pull your screen. Pretty crazy. Let's look at the news and see what we need to fuse him. We can go over here to the fusion. We see Tormin the Cold. We need all void champions. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but we can get all these rare champions from things that are happening for the next two weeks and 2 days. It doesn't look very easy. We can get actually the epics as well, but even if you're a whale, I don't believe you can get these epics done. We're going to go over that in just a second. It is pretty wild how bad they're just doing what they do here at Polarium. I mean, I haven't heard one good thing about this fusion. I'm in 888 chat. I'm in my own Discord. I'm in other people's Discord. I'm in every other chat out there reading what people are saying, and it's hilarious. Again, it's just, it's hard for us to back a company who keeps doing the things they do like this, but the whales support it, so the company keeps doing it. I mean, that's just facts. The whales support it. You don't even come at me with, if we just stop spinning. Doesn't matter. The top 1% of the mega whales, or 2%, whoever they are, spend enough money that it doesn't even matter what us little people do. Believe me, and it wouldn't even matter. I'm telling you right now, you can spend as much money as you want, but unless you have these voids, unless you have really saved up a lot of void shards and get lucky, there's no amount of money you could spend right now to get the epics reasonably. I don't think so. But you can wait to get the rares, but that's the hard part for me. Like, I see here on this, we can get Towering Titan the 13th through the 15th, which we can see right now. Well, we can get Centurion and Interceptor, Harvester, all these things at different dates. So we have Vanguard at the 24th through the 26th on a summoning event too. Now, usually the rares aren't as hard to get as the epics, because the epics right now are really crazy hard to get. But I can't tell where I'm going to pick all these up, and I'm scared I'm going to miss one. Luckily, I have everything. Like, I have 3 of the epics, and then I have the four rares that are needed to make the 4th epic. So I can make it no problem. I'm probably going to make it tonight just to rush and do it. But for anybody else, I need a timeline. I need like a timeline graph, right? We just have a timeline going like this with dates, and then I have a picture of the rares going across it. So I can, for me, that's much easier. So I can look at that timeline and see, okay, this is what I'm going to pick up each rare champion, and then I can fuse. I know which rares I need for each of the epics. I can fuse and make those, because when it's like this, I just can't tell. Yes, I can see that the 20th and the 20th, but for me, it's very hard for me to get a grasp on it all, reading it this way. It really is, and it makes it, to me, if I didn't have them, I would just kind of throw my hands up and be like, I don't know. I'd have to write this out, because I really just can't tell what is good, because so many dates, right? 16th through the 18th on this one. That's only a few days. If I miss that, I'm done. I'm finished. I've got nothing else. And there's only a certain amount of void shards out there. You can't just go get a crazy amount of void shards and start summoning. And I have asked, there's not going to be a 2 times void event popping up and surprising us, so don't worry about that. Let's look at the events and see what I'm talking about here. We're going to get into the legendary as well, but look at this event. Let's go, the first one is the craziest. So it wouldn't be that hard to get Centurion. Like I said, to get the rares to fuse it all, it might be possible. I still think it's going to be really hard, because that's 5,000 and 5,200 still to do it. 33,000 is insane. A lot of whales out there just buy chickens, and they buy the 5-star chickens, make a 6-star champion. That doesn't give you that many points, and then take that 6-star all the way up to 60. It doesn't give you that many points toward these things at all. It's going to take like 100 6-stars to get the exemplar, is what it's going to take. But you could take your time and get this guy here. We have, how much time? We have 2 weeks to get Centurion in this one. So you have a little bit of time. You could work it out, get that one rare, and it might not be that bad. I don't know. You guys tell me. How much is 5,200 to get that rare? It's probably going to be quite a bit. And then Arena Assault, you can get another one over here for 550 in 6 days. I don't think that's too bad. I mean, you get a point. So you get, what, 4 points if you're in the higher brackets of these. So 4 points over, we need 550. So I don't know. You might have to refresh a bit to get that one, but it doesn't look impossible. And I did do some summons already, and I'm already up to Harvester. So I did just a few, and I got to Harvester pretty easy. So again, bam, you can get that rare pretty quickly. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Of course, I'm not going to go for Towering Titan. Do you know how many summons that would be? Probably quite a bit, and I'm done. I don't need to do anything else. So I'm not going to summon. I'm not going to summon at all. I'm done with all that. So right now, you see what kind of events. I guess there's no tournament, right? We just have the old one. Finishing up. Yes, global leaders. All right, so let's get into what this guy does and how crazy he is. Now, the power creep or the balancing in this game, as I've already said, is way out of whack. Let me just start by saying, if you can do the fusion, sure, 100%. Do the fusion. Get it out of the way, do the fusion, because you're going to want this champion eventually. You're going to want him for something, because in Arena, it's going to be totally just dumb. It's going to be really dumb. And for anybody that's super strong in Arena, and really I just mean anybody that has a Hegemon, pretty much anybody that has a Hegemon, it's going to be really crazy to have this champion. And in general, it's going to force everybody to use immunity artifacts or have somebody like Smash Lord, some Mausoleum Mage even, with immunity artifacts on right away, or them as your fastest, which is going to kind of be weird, so that you can clear everybody else if they got a random freeze on them, and that you can put an unblockable debuffs, right? Block debuffs up on all your champions buff. Otherwise, it's going to be total random. I mean, that's just what it's going to be. It is going to be insanely random. Let's get over to what he is. Here's his dwarf. Now, again, I feel like these guys just have no grasp on balance in this game, and I've been saying this a lot in my videos lately. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing it, but it's really important to me to play a game that has good balance, and this is not balanced whatsoever. Obviously, it's really not balanced, since we would have been better off everybody getting Sir Nick. Seriously. Sir Nick is super powerful. I've already been saying that. Does crazy damage, has crazy utility, but we still would have been better off everybody getting Sir Nick in the game in a much easier fashion, since they pretty much gave him out before. It wasn't that incredibly hard. You just had to get lucky and roll a rare. Big deal compared to what we go through today. Not a problem. They should have just given everybody a Sir Nick, or you know, of course, let us get a chance to fuse him, because this guy, look at him. Attacks all enemy, has a 25% chance to place a freeze debuff. Now, if you get somebody with counterattack up and this guy starts counterattacking back, you're going to get a lot of freezes up. And then instantly activates the skill whenever an enemy is under both a freeze and an HP burn and takes damage from an HP burn. That is really, really insane. It takes a lot of setup, so we're not going to focus on this kind of stuff. The stuff that takes a setup, and it's defense based. All his damage is defense based. He's got really high defense, really high HP, a little bit slow in the speed, but still good. Not too bad. And it doesn't matter, because he can proc things on his passive that doesn't matter about his speed. So the setup for HP burn, you know, if you got Trunda, if you have Tyrant, if you have Drexstar, actually is really good because he has it on his passive. If he gets attacked, you can get the HP burn up. Then if you wanted to do it and other things in the game just for fun on spiders, you could get a freeze up from any other champion out there, Sharamani, whoever else. You could get a freeze from this guy as well. You could get HP burn from a lot of other people. So there are different combinations you can do just to have fun with. I'm not talking about speed runs. I don't see this guy speeding up runs in anything in the game that we do right now, especially if you're in game. But he would be super fun for a mid-game account if you are able to get him, which I don't think anybody's going to be able to get him mid-game unless they're super lucky with the voids that they have. Okay, let's go on to skill 2. Removes all buffs from a target enemy and then attacks that enemy 2 times. Steals all buffs instead if that target is already frozen. And then will ignore defense if the target is under both freeze and HP burn. Again, a crazy setup to get freeze and HP burn, so I'm not too concerned with that. 3-turn cooldown once maxed out. But removing all buffs from a target and then attacking them 2 times, that's pretty sweet. And then stealing them if they're already frozen. Normally, they probably won't be frozen. Again, that would take a lot of setup, a lot of additional people to do that. But the ability to remove and then attack 2 times, that's pretty good. That's nice. It's not overpowered. This AoE with a freeze is pretty much, that's not good at all. But that's not even the icing on the cake. The craziness is the passive. So skill 3, attacks all enemies, place a block, buffs, debuff, and 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns on enemies under freeze debuffs. So again, they have to be under freeze for it to really do a craziness, and then has a 60% chance, well, it'd be up to 80% chance to provoke for 1 turn on enemies not under freeze. So that's really good. He's got AoE, 4-turn cooldown, AoE, but only 80% chance. We'll increase that to an 85% chance and get the accuracy buff in the support. I'm sure you want that accuracy of plus 50% because his passive is going to need it. His skill 1 is going to need it. This is going to need it. So I'm going to go straight to that plus 50 passive mastery sniper to get the 5% additional to apply things. We want a 5% additional chance here. We want a 5% chance here. Everything else he does, we want that additional 5% chance because he's not at 100 for this stuff. And then he can provoke for 1 turn. So that's pretty strong. The provoke is nice. I like that. Defense-based damage. We'll have to see how hard it hits. Decrease the cooldown of 1 random skill on each ally by 1 turn for every enemy attacked under both freeze and HP again. Again, it needs freeze and HP, so That's just going to be fun setups. Defense. So all the rest of this hasn't been that bad. Skill 2 is nice. Skill 3 is nice. Skill 1 is going to be a little bit overpowered for things. It's because it's an AoE freeze. It's pretty overpowered on skill 1. That's insane. Okay, now we're going to get to his passive. Now the passive problem here is that this is going to make Arena total RNG. Just total RNG, and it's dumb. It's really silly to have something, a mechanic in the game like this, and they keep doing it. They I don't know who's doing the calls over there. It doesn't matter. The game is just not balanced, and it makes for a poor gaming experience for everybody, no matter what you do, whether you believe that or not. It truly does make for a poor gaming experience. So now he has a 25% chance to place a freeze debuff on an enemy each time they receive a buff, gets healed, or a turn meter increase. The 25% chance applies for each effect individually in cases where enemies receive multiples of these effects at the same time. So right away, Arbiter is going to boost, give you attack up, give you turn meter increase. So that's 2 chances at a 25%, 30% chance when you have the additional in Support Mastery, Sniper, to apply a freeze. So that's 2 chances at a 30% chance to apply a freeze for each of your champions just from an Arbiter alone. Now, if anybody heals from anything at any time, if they have a passive in the defensive mastery, whenever somebody else heals, they heal. So when you both have this guy on your team, you're both going to be bouncing off, and people are going to be getting frozen all the time. If you heal from, skills or abilities or passives, you got a chance to do it. If you do any kind of turn meter increase or a buff, if you bring in anything like that, then that's it. Now, I'm assuming this takes effect right after it. So if you have somebody like Smash Lord that removes all debuffs and puts up a block debuffs buff up, so you can't be applied, anything cannot be applied to you, then it would try to apply it afterwards and you'd be able to block it. Okay, we get that. If you have immunity artifacts, which everybody's going to need to roll with now, then it's going to block it. For 3 turns, you can block this and do your normal old thing. But a lot of people don't have that many immunity artifacts. It takes a 4-piece set, so it's really not healthy for the game. If immunity was 1 turn on a 2-turn piece, it would be much healthier for the game like it is in all other games. It's proven over 5-6 consecutive years that it's much better for the game, and it's just gonna it's not really switching up the meta in a good way. It's switching it up to where basically with this guy Tormin, if you're lucky enough to have Hegemon, you're gonna go first and really hurt people. There's been some super strong Hegemons out there, and then to recuperate from that, anything you do is gonna cost you a possible freeze just from them having this guy on their team. So that is very strong. If you're in a super tank high resist team as well, that is good. I mean, high resist is going to be really important as well against this guy. So the high resist tank teams are going to have this guy in their team all the time. I mean, he's defense based, and you can pump HP. It doesn't matter. You don't really need him to hit super hard. You want him to provoke. You want him to just freeze everybody all the time. So that'll be good too. It's gonna change some things, but I think it's going to be a little bit random. It's going to be too random, basically, is what it comes down to for me. You should never make something, especially competitive arena, random, RNG. You should never do that. Never, ever do that. So it's going to be good. I mean, there are going to be people out there that have those Raglins that are really defensive heavy that are going to be able to remove and heal people pretty often. But since this applies every time you do one of those things, in every instance of it, and it's a pretty high percentage. I mean, we're talking 35% if you have the mastery for it. That's pretty good. And then revives this champion at 100% HP when killed and places a freeze debuff on this champion for 1 turn. So yeah, he does come back on a 6-turn cooldown. So as long as he can stay alive for another 6 turns, he will do it again. But he comes back with a freeze on himself. So that's pretty good that he can't do something. So I don't know. You guys let me know how you feel about it. I'm going to be able to fuse him tonight, make him right away, and test him out. That's just my thoughts on it until everybody gets immunity, gets high resistance, and gets everything set up. Sure, it's going to change things. I just don't like randomness. I don't like the randomness. If it's a small randomness, this much randomness, I think, is really going to throw things off. All we're going to see is just random freezes all the time. We're just going to see, oh, this person got frozen. And I think it's going to cost a lot of games. It's kind of like when Summoners Wars, before when they have real-time arena now, when they first started real-time arena, just like the Relentless set we have, they basically made it to where you can only take an extra turn 1 time, and that's it. Because it was too RNG for a competitive arena. And 2 RNG is never good. It is never good for people to lose that much on randomness. It's bad for the game. It's very bad for the game. But this guy is going to be fun. If you can get him, then get him. I mean, he's out there. Polarium will not go back and change this. I can guarantee you. They haven't gone back and changed other champions. They do not nerf like that. We've never seen that happen before. So whatever's out here, it's out here, man. It's here. We got it. Let's live with it. Let's have fun with it. See what we can do. Please let me know your thoughts below on this whole fusion. And I haven't heard anything good about it. There's no good way to spin this. It's going to be super crazy for anybody to be able to get him, I'm sure. And I'm sorry. I mean, this is the game we played. It's been this way for every fusion, for everything that's come out, and for everything we've done. So thanks so much for supporting me. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in a video soon.